Hi, this is Jeff Landau, and you're listening to Your Beautiful Day on the Gratitude Radio Network.
Hi, it's Jenn Mog, Mother of Gratitude on the Gratitude Radio Network, and you're listening to Your Beautiful Day. And today we have with us Neil Haley from The Neil Haley Show. How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing fantastic. I always like to simulcast with you, and it's an amazing guest. I like to talk because, anytime you can talk about one of the industries that's the hottest right now, and that's the real estate game, and a real estate agent, it's a mover and shaker in the California area. I'm excited to learn from him, and especially how he's trying to make things niche, especially in a time period where there's a lot of agents out there, but he's focusing more on how that buyer sells a home. Because again, it's a challenge. Because especially if you have to fix things up and get things together. So let's introduce our guest.
Well, I'm real excited because Jeff Landau does know what he's doing. So Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate being here and the opportunity to meet the people that listen to your shows.
Yeah, watch and listen as we're doing again. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be everywhere. And I like this, have a segment like this because again, anytime, anywhere, you never know when you need a real estate agent. So go ahead, Jen, with your first question.
No, I love the trends of real estate. I used to have my real estate license. How are you doing out there with everything trending in California?
Well, doing very, very well. We were all thrown for a big shock like the whole world was at the end of March last year in our area. I'm sure elsewhere in our area, at the end of March, we started having these different guidelines of how to do things safely. And they seem to be changing at least on a weekly basis, if not sooner than that. And then, we started getting used to what the safe protocols are, and the market did almost come to a halt at the end of March, and seemed like towards May, June, started picking up and got really fast.
Especially when the rates went down, right? That was huge.
Big driving force. Absolutely.
Because I remember a time back in the day, I was working for the Credit Bureau of Columbus, and I was doing credit reports for mortgage companies. And it was about in the, I'm trying to think of years. It was probably 2000 time when really the rates went down. That was one of the big real estate jumps that was really huge for people when those rates. That's the time where you guys got to develop and rock the house because you never know, because it's a very cyclical thing in real estate, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's yes. And the big factor with interest rates, and we had rates when they were at 4 at the end of last year. And to give you an example, I had a buyer that was he was going to be in like the $900 to $1 million price range buying. And when rates went down, to your point, Neil, when they went down into the low 3s to 3 and even upper 2s, I said you should speak to your lender to see if you are qualified for a higher purchase. And for the same payment, his purchasing dollars went up $70,000. So these interest rates are continuing to have a very big impact on the real estate market.
Jeff, where did you grow up and how did you get into real estate?
I grew up in New Jersey, and I was there until I graduated high school and then migrated to Southern California. I've been licensed and full-time since 2002.
What brought you to California?
The weather. I was able to visit a couple family members that lived out here in Northern California, and really from the first time visiting them in my teens, I just knew that California was where I wanted to eventually live.
So living in California, and that's the interesting process, right? Of seeing these homes, right? It's got to be pretty unbelievable, right? Some of the homes
Yeah, yes. I mean, there's some homes. I'm in a market. I don't know if to some of your guests when I said $900 to $1 million price range. In a strange way, that's not really very high for California. I think in the state, the median price is a little bit over $700,000 now. I have a lot of peers that are maybe 20 miles from me, but 20 miles can also be Malibu, West LA, and those areas. I mean, I have friends that like the low end to them, and not low end from any kind of, standpoint of measuring. It's, 2 million, they go up to 20-30 million dollars. So those homes are just incredible.
Wow. Yeah, that's South Tampa pricing.
It's crazy.
And it's funny because you would think you'd be getting a huge house for $1 million, and it's like a ranch house. It's like the suburbs,
I just saw one for 1,500 square feet. That was $1.5 million.
Right.
And yeah. that wasn't on the beach. It wasn't an ocean view. It was in West LA.
Yeah, it astounds me because you're looking at a house going, wait, that's like my grandmother's house, and then you're like, yeah, for 700.
It's crazy.
It's insane. What are some of the trends that you're seeing, or that you're foreseeing? I know you don't have like your little ball, but
I wish I did. Well, biggest trend is certainly more people working from home. So, it may seem a little counterintuitive. Why did the real estate market get so hot? And as much as our homes are important to us, I think they became even more important when we started spending even more time in them. And a lot of people are now working from home, and maybe instead of having a 3-bedroom, they realize they have to have a 4-bedroom. Some people, I'm working with some first-time buyers now, and they are so motivated because they have a 3-year-old son, and they really want to get a yard for him and not stay inside the whole day in their apartment. So it's making people rethink their home and what's in their home. And that's probably the biggest trend, along with the bigger trend is people realizing how mobile they are. Some are thinking, whenever this is over, do they have to go back to their office? And maybe moving away from the high-priced area of Southern California and moving someplace else where they can buy the same or better house for 1/3 of the cost and have a lower cost of living. So those are two really big trends right now.
Those seem like two really great trends. And I think that you wouldn't think about that because of COVID. I mean, the rates, but then the fact of the matter is, if you're stuck in the same place all over and over again, and let's just say you are somebody that's a performer, especially talking California, and you need to have certain quiet, maybe the house you had before when you would just go to the studio, now you have to have your own studio, or now you need to have a quiet space for work. So that changes the whole process of a home saying, this is not going to work anymore. I don't see us going back to work. And if you're with Google, you're never going back to work. So if you know your home is going to be your office, you got to find a better place.
Absolutely. That's probably the biggest driving force. And, I've had some friends and some clients move, and they're just realizing that they don't have to be here anymore, and they're thinking about other factors, whether it's cost of living, whether it's where they want to raise their family.
Commute too, because you don't commute to work. Why the heck do you have to be so close to work? You can go out farther and have a better priced house and not pay the amount of taxes or certain things based on, especially depending all over the country and all that stuff.
Absolutely. And that's a big trend, Neil, in our area is, first of all, there's not a lot of room for new construction of a lot of homes in our area. So yes, to the outlying suburbs, absolutely right. So if people don't have to drive to the major area, or they don't have to commute to the major area, and they can move out to the suburbs, maybe be a little bit more spread out and have a lower cost home. Those are all really big factors right now.
Go ahead, Jen, with your next question.
With the exodus that's going on with people leaving California, what is the radius, do you think, or around the radius of leaving LA, that they can still, because the entertainment's still going to be happening in LA. SAG isn't going anywhere. For the actors and some of the producers who are looking for a second home, what is the radius that you're seeing around California into other states?
Right. So, into other states, I'm not sure. I know in our area, it's very concentrated. Where the studios are. It's a very dense area and very concentrated area. We did have very big traffic issues that there are less, but traffic's coming back, which in one sense is a good sign that people are getting out and moving. But when you talk about going to suburbs, and it's a little bit easier drive now, so you can get, as far as our area, probably at least an hour away. So could be, 20, 30 miles from the studios, at least.
Interesting.
Wow. And so that whole process. So one of the things you're differentiating yourself, Jeff, and this is big, is again, preparing people to sell their home and not having to spend so much money. Because sometimes when you have to sell your home, you have to really show it. And showing a home is an important thing. Explain a little bit of that, where you're trying to niche yourself in a way, Jeff, compared to other agents.
Well, thank you, Neil. So as far as a niche, it's helping a seller prepare their home for sale so they can maximize the value of their home and how much money that they make. At the outset, that may sound like a no-brainer that every real estate agent should be doing that. What happens, though, are some sellers know that they need to put some money into their home, but they don't have that money, or they don't have that time to interview contractors, to know what they should be doing, and to project manage it, and to interview people, and to manage the contractors. And especially in our area where we've had, those massive fires and lost a lot of homes, contractors have gotten very busy. So what I've set up is a way to help sellers prepare their home at no out-of-pocket expense, where we front the money that is needed to prepare a home for sale. We project manage it. So from that turnkey standpoint, it really is easy enough for a seller to give us access to the home. We figure out what improvements will maximize their value, where money is best spent. And then we project manage it. We take care of what colors to use, the materials to use. And once everything's ready, we get the home on the market, and we get repaid when the home sells.
Jeff, that's a godsend. That is angelic.
It's a driving force for me. It's
my gosh.
I think about somebody I met a couple of years ago. One of the things that I do is knock on doors. Some people may find that annoying. Some people don't. I was in this neighborhood, and I met a man in his probably late 70s, early 80s. And when I met him, he said he was thinking about selling. He had a son out of state, and he wanted to sell the house, move out of state, but his house needed a lot of work, and he didn't want to sell it knowing that it needed a lot of work. And instead of getting that work done years later, he ended up passing away at that house and wasn't able to sell it. And at the time, I didn't have these tools. And it's still a memory for me. I never want that to happen to anybody that I cross paths with.
That's extraordinary. I think everyone should do it. And it seems simple, but my God, man, that's a complete game changer. And that's from your heart. I mean, that's a gift. That's why you're here.
I love it. This also came in handy. I was introduced to a woman that moved into assisted living. And when she was comfortable with the fact that it was the right place for her to live, then she was ready to sell her home in a retirement area here. And her home hadn't been updated probably in 30 years. And it had a lot of personal belongings at the house. And we went in, she came back to the home, took what she wanted and everything else. We ended up moving out of the house. We completely renovated the house, new kitchen, new floor, new bathrooms, and paint. And we got her an extra $40,000 just because she said, here's the keys, go do your work. And she got some, a lot of money, for that. So
Jeff, what are your ultimate goals with what you're doing with this? What do you want to do with it? Yeah.
I recently went under a brand change. Prior to that, it was Jeff Landau Homes. Now it's Team 805. I'm building a team out here locally. I do want to spread the word out about what I'm calling this term pre-modeling, where we are getting homes ready before sale. As Jen was saying, it's a godsend. I think so too. Certainly sounds better coming from somebody else than from me. I think so too. And I am endeavoring to spread the word, and any effort that I can to expand, I think, will be very helpful for home sellers.
Well, just the integrity of that, your character, that just gives me chills. It's just, I am so happy. That's a huge gratitude moment for me, being the mother of gratitude, to see somebody play it forward and doing it in a way, dude, you're changing the game across the United States, if not the world, by the time this is done. To be able to help somebody in that way. The biggest problem with moving out of a house is that you're moving out of a house. And once you're in a house, it's like years and years and years of sentimental stuff. And no one thinks about, oh, well, gee, I got to like tear out my kitchen because that's on the to-do list. That's not on the impulse aisle. You know what I mean? And to be able to take that weight off of somebody, you secured them. They're not going anywhere. You got your buyer, you got your house. And to be able to take the seller and give them that much peace of mind is a huge godsend.
It's, as you're mentioning, the sale of a home is so overwhelming. There's so many different moving pieces. And even if somebody doesn't do any work to their house, I think it's one of the top stressors in life is just moving homes. And then take into account if somebody wants to maximize how much money that they make, and really who wouldn't want to maximize how much money they would make, then they have to go through, do I want to go through that process? What do I do? How much money should I put into the bathroom? Should I put it into the bathroom? Should I fix the roof? What color should I paint? And, I could go on and on.
On and on. And my bathroom needs to be demolished, but because the wall is wonky on the exterior of where the bathroom is. I would rather sell my house and let you guys demolish the bathroom instead of living through that, because for some reason, living through it, it's not like Robert Irvine with his little, sledgehammer coming in and 30 minutes later, it's going to be done. You find stuff wrong when it starts going wrong. You find stuff you think is going to be perfect. This is easy. Easy is all of a sudden it's not.
Exactly.
Take that away from a homeowner and say, I got you, don't worry. And they actually get to not worry about anything. That's everything.
Yeah. And to your point, these HGTV shows with, flip this and fix that. And, those are very highly rated, and there's more and more shows because people are interested in seeing it. They love seeing how different a home looks. And wouldn't that be great to be the seller and have that change before you sell it so you can make some extra money?
All right, I'm pitching this to you right now because there's a person at work where I'm pitching him a show on that. And I would like to promote that. We can do it on GoPros and put it on the Gratitude Radio Network, Neil, and he's got distribution because there's just nothing like it. And for someone to have that much heart in what they do to help other people, but literally help other people. I want to be able to produce that show.
We'll definitely stay in touch with Jeff to make sure that happens. There's always connectivity, and that's why he comes on these shows to make these relationships and get the word out. Now, thinking about it, I guess the process that people always do, they don't offer it, Jeff. Meaning real estate agents will say, hey, we recommend you do X, Y, and Z, not provide it for you. That's the difference. Yeah, they might get a cleaning lady to come in for you. They might rip the carpet out, but you're talking, kind of explain to us one use case scenario of what you've done for a homeowner.
Okay. And Neil, maybe the reason why is a lot of real estate agents don't do a lot of business. So they just want to get, they want to put their sign in the yard and get the home sold as quickly as possible so they can make money, where preparing a home for sale could take a month, 2 or 3.
Okay.
And then you have to go through that sale process. So maybe a lot of agents don't have that in mind for that reason. I don't know. The biggest one I shouldn't say the biggest, but the first one comes to mind is that woman that moved into the assisted living. I've had some clients that inherited property through one through trust, one through probate. And I mean, those were homes that needed brand new everything. And those homes were, again, it was, paint, flooring, fixing the slab, and then doing the flooring and the kitchen and the bathrooms. It's almost like it's really like a seller flip, where you're flipping that home prior to putting it on the market.
Impressive, for sure. Okay, Jen, ask that gratitude moment, and then one other question.
Well, I think we had our gratitude moment with Jeff, but Jeff, do you have other gratitude moments from sellers that you've, and I've already pitched you a show, so I don't even know where to go from here. Do you have a gratitude moment in doing this, or when was your aha moment that this is what needs to be done and you're the one that's doing it?
The aha moment was a couple of weeks prior to helping that first client. I was driving in my car and just thinking about ways that I can add value. Again, it's very easy for a real estate agent to fall into being a commodity, just because if you're selling a home and you have 5 agents come over and they go, oh, this is the marketing that I do, and this is the that I do, and everybody does the same thing, at some point your eyes just start glazing over, and then everybody sounds the same. And then if everybody sounds the same, why not just get the cheapest person? I would. Right? And I don't do that. My value to my client isn't I can do it for less. Like, they get me, they get a team, they get a mindset. And I thought, wouldn't that be a great service? There are some agents in my area doing this. And I said, I need to provide this service to my clients. And I called the first contractor that I called and said, this is my vision. He said, let's go grab a coffee and make this happen. And a couple weeks later, I was sitting in front of this client. I mentioned it to her and she said, sounds great. And she met with him, and next thing you know, we're helping her make more money.
And $40,000 isn't anything to sneeze at for someone to angelically come into your life and fix what needs to be done so that she can spend that transition, the last part of her life, in peace. Knowing, I mean, I'm just blown away.
I mean, for her, it's probably an extra 5 or 6 months of living expenses where she was living that she just gets, and basically didn't have to pay rent for 5 or 6 months.
Right. And it's expensive getting older. No one really thinks about that.
That's a whole different show.
We think we're going to live forever, but we don't have to make account to go with it.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you being on our show today. Thank you.
I'm grateful for you guys inviting me. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, Neil.
All right, so we'll close it out. Go ahead, Jen, with your closeout. Again, Jeff, where can we find information on you, first of all, to learn more about you? Where can we go?
Thank you. The best place is team805.com is the website, and then Facebook page and Instagram page, LinkedIn, everything is Team 805.
Okay. All right, close it out, Jen.
Oh, thank you. Well, we've been listening and sitting down with Jeff Landau with 805, an amazing real estate agent who has a great future for everyone that's going to be his seller, and taking their houses and taking care of them, and seriously taking care of them like it's never been done before. I think you're a complete godsend. For everyone listening, you have his information, and that is really playing it forward. And that's what I do. That's what I love to do at Gratitude Radio Network and being a Mog. So remember, you are blessed, you are loved, you are sacred. Find gratitude in the little things of your life and make it a beautiful day. Thank you.